Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to Game Day here at Heavy Cardboard. Teach, play, and discuss medium and heavy strategy, board games, war games, 18xx. I'm your host, Edward Euler. Happy to be joined by y'all. Why? Because we're doing a solo stream today of Ahau, Rulers of Yucatán, designed by Tamás Oláh and published by his game, or his publishing company, Apeiron Games. So, yeah, looking forward to this. We did a sponsored stream of this last week. 5-player stream, and so thought, you know what, why don't we bust out a solo stream of this, since I know a lot of y'all are interested in solo games. I enjoy solo games. I fully expect to get destroyed today by King Pakal, but that's okay. It's okay. It's okay. So I'm looking forward to this. Hopefully y'all are as well. It's available still on Kickstarter, I think, for another week or so, give or take. Thomas is also in chat, so feel free to touch base with him during the stream for any questions you have about this. Keep in mind, this is a Kickstarter, so everything is subject to change. Components, graphics, rules, gameplay, balance, the whole 9 yards. This is as it is now. One exception. The war track has already changed a little bit, but we... Our prototype board of this does not reflect it. It's not going to really impact the gameplay a whole lot. You're not going to notice any difference. I'm not going to notice any difference, but I'm sure the more you play it, the balance will. The point is, things are in flux. It's a Kickstarter, so keep that in mind, all right? That said, yeah, I'm going to teach the game, but I'm going to teach it differently than I do when I do multiplayer streams. What I'm going to do, plus I did fully teach the game last week, things are a little bit different in this, in that King Pakal, it's a 2-player game, but he has obviously AI rules that we have to follow, and I'll be working through those from the rule book as we go along. But I am going to give an overview of the game at the beginning here, and then from there, kind of get into it and kind of give the lay of the land. I'm going to talk about the setup for the solo game as well, and then we'll get into it. So without further ado, if y'all are ready, let's get into it, shall we? All right? Cool. Yeah, and as you can see, Thomas is in there, so yay. All right. All right, so here, first off, let me go and read the description. I learned some stuff about King Pakal. I didn't know about King Pakal until we played this, so here we go. In the solo game, you will be playing against King Pakal, a famous Mayan ruler who made Palenque a formidable city-state, increasing its wealth and power throughout the region, ascending to the throne at age 12. That's terrifying, isn't it? Kid rulers. Just saying. Pakal ruled from 603 to 683. So that's 81 years. It's a pretty good run, I'd say, which is the 5th longest reign in world history. He is most renowned for constructing some of Palenque's monumental buildings, including the Temple of Inscriptions, the largest Mesoamerican step pyramid structure at Palenque, within which he was buried in a colossal sarcophagus. All right, cool. All right, so what is it y'all are looking at here before we get into the setup and everything? So we have the main board. victory point track or fame point track, round the outside, round the outside, round the outside. Then the difference between last week's stream and this one is we're playing on the 2 and 3 player side of things. And you'll notice there's one less region. So region 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 there. In addition to that, we have the Katoon wheel up here, which this is going to be the timer for the game. We are going to play over a number of Katoons, but the length of those Katoons is going to be limited just because 2-player game. So keep that in mind as well. All right. Oh, you know what? Yeah, we're good. Okay. In addition to the different regions, we have cities. There are 10 cities in the game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, which represent the different gods that are in this game, but also the cities throughout the Mayan area here. In addition to the cities, we have production sites, and the production sites are in the 5 different colors of resources. So these little circles all throughout here. And whenever we produce, whenever we exhaust these production sites, we're going to put them up here on this wheel, and that's going to be one of the timers for the game. All right? Yeah. All right. So, in addition to that, we have bonus buildings in each of the regions. Those are possible free builds between myself and King Pakal that can build them if we have workers in all of the adjacent cities, as well as our rulers being in the presence of that region as well. So that's kind of the main stuff over here. We have the war track, and this is what I was mentioning, that we don't have an updated war track, but again, it's really a trivial thing. Long term, it will be meaningful, but in a given game, I don't think it's going to be a huge deal for us today. All right. We have the buildings that can be built down here and the building stack there. We have the 5 temples, which are going to dictate what the scoring is going to be during a Katoon celebration, and those are randomly placed out here with those. And obviously, I'm playing orange. King Pakal is playing green, and you'll see that green's already cheating with some of the things that are out here. It's part of the setup. We'll talk about that in a bit. So my board, I have my 12 workers. I have my symmetric 6-card deck. All the players have the same 6 basic cards, which are just numbered 1 to 6, which correspond to the different regions. Notice there's only 5 regions, so the 6 will never be played on the left side for us, obviously. We have our ruler. And then over here for King Pakal, his is a little bit of a different setup here. And actually, I'll go ahead and bring it over and show you all this a little bit more in detail. So you can randomly choose which kind of personality King Pakal is going to be, and that is represented by the 6 different role cards that are in the game, but also the different personality types. We chose the warlord or the war chief, so that is who we have. There is a kind of a hierarchy of the different gods in which that's going to be determining where he moves, stuff like that, and which tiles he builds, so on and so forth. So his ruler, he has already randomly chosen, i.e. he gets the starter tile that matches his god there, and then his deck of cards. He starts with 11 workers because 1 starts already built over there in Palanque as well. All right? All right, so that's kind of everything you're looking at. Plus, like I said, there are all the resources off camera. There is the bag of pyramid tiles as well. There is 1 unbuilt production site because it's a smaller board, so therefore there's 1 less production site out there. All right. There is a Katoon celebration card, which is basically the, whenever we have a Katoon that happens, a Katoon celebration at the end of a Katoon, we will run through this. This is going to be intermediate scoring as well. And then finally, there is the player aids there, which on one side has the phases of the game and the other has the god powers on it. So before I go into talking about an overview and everything, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the setup for this. The setup is the same as the regular game. And I don't think I really want to go into that in detail. I'm just going to talk about highlight the changes for the solo game, since that's really what we care about today, which is the solo game. So as I said, we're using 2 or 3 player side of the game board. Whoo, can't talk today. All right, we have already randomly, not really, chosen the warlord personality. All right, in addition to that, you place one of his workers here. He also gets the starter tile, the pyramid tile, that matches the god that is his most preferred, as I've already talked about there. Let me see what else. Also, he does get the royal palace already built right there. Now, that does not, none of these things that I'm talking about have an impact. Try that again. The personality card that you choose, the only impact that it has for setup is choosing which of these starter tiles. He will always start with he wins all ties, and he will always start with one worker in Palanque as well, okay? Now, there are 3 different levels of difficulty. There's easy, regular, if you will, medium, and then hard. We're going to play the medium level, and I'm probably still going to get housed. But why that matters is that is going to dictate number of weapon tiles, whether it's 0, 1, or 3 that he starts with. I think starting him with 3 is suicide, but, you know, hey, so 1. So we're playing on the medium difficulty there. The roll cards. So for setup for the solo game, he gets his roll card, which is the Warlord War card. It's in here, I'll shuffle you. I did already shuffle these, but you can see it's the same artwork. It's basically the headshot of that artwork there. So we're just going to shuffle these up. He gets that shuffled in. Then randomly chosen, I have 3 options up there of roll cards that I'm going to be able to acquire. I'll be able to acquire one of them, just like in the regular game. So the 3 that were randomly chosen were, I believe that's the Builder, that's the Summon Power, I know, and the Queen. Those are the 3 that are available. And also, because I needed an extra player aid to be able to show you all that, I'm going to choose from those 3 of the gods to choose from. Normally, I would get a choice of 4. So here, so those are shuffled. All right, so let's see what else. All the other roll cards are removed from the game. Oh, also, right, okay, this is kind of important. King Pakal, he gets resources, but he doesn't get resources like these. Instead, he has this tracker card, and so it starts on 3, and I chose the yellow one just because I think the yellow shows up better. So if y'all are having a hard time seeing the yellow, I can change it to a white or a black. I used all 5 colors. I thought yellow works. Anyways, he has 3 resources to start. When he spends resources, he spends basically all his resources are colorless, so it doesn't matter that specific whenever he gains resources. Y'all help me remember whenever he gains resource to move this up. He is capped at, well, 14, and obviously can go down to 0. And there you go. So he won't gain normal resources in that regard. Okay? And then he starts on the top on the war track. And finally, I did mention that he cheats. So actually, before we move over, let's look at the hierarchy on his personality card, because y'all are going to have to help me with these as we go along to make sure I don't forget stuff. So his hierarchy here is the sun god at top. Then it is the feathered serpent, or Kukulkan, there. Then the rain god, Chak. The one I'm going to struggle the most with here, the chief god, and that's Itzamna, and finally the jaguar. So the hierarchy of that is really going to play a big part. So just remember, it goes sun god, serpent, rain god. Those are going to be probably the 3 that are most common for us for determining tiebreakers and stuff like that. However, the 2 lowest ones, he's actually going to start with markers in the temple, because again, he cheats. It's good to be the king. Right, exactly, Paul. So if you take a look, he starts on the non-point spot on the two lowest gods, which is the jaguar, as well as for him, it is the chief god. Okay? All right. I don't get any of those things. What I do get, however, is I get to choose one of those to start with. I'm going to go ahead and choose, I've given this a little bit of thought, not a ton, but I'm going to choose chalk, but also because that actually coincides with this being able to build this building right off the bat, hopefully. So I'm going to go ahead there, grab that. And when I do so, I then get the opportunity, I get those 3 resources to start out with. So we get, I believe that's 1 corn, 1 water, and I forget what the black is. Obsidian, maybe, I think. So black, blue, yellow, I start with those, done. And now this doesn't matter. And same goes with these. These are out as well. And we don't need those because we already have our player aids already set up right there for y'all. All right. Move those aside there. Good. All right. So I think we are all set up. Everything is going to be played face up, obviously, because Chief Pakal can't cheat because, well, he can't cheat. Peace tea today. I was right, it is obsidian. Cool. Thank you, Tamás. All right. So, I think one other thing, now that setup is done for all of that, I think the other thing that I think would be important to talk about is the war captain, his personality. What is his advantage? What is his cheater power, if you will, right? So, I'm going to reshuffle this again, obviously. Whenever this card comes into play, okay, I'll shuffle this while I'm talking about it. Whenever that comes into play, all the normal rules that I'm going to explain on his turn are out the window, and he basically becomes just a huge bully. And what I mean by that is I'm looking at the rule book here, explaining this. So in the movement phase this turn, whenever he plays that card, whether it's to the left side or the right side, it doesn't matter. When he does so, he basically, if he would beat me in a tie, he's just going to go where I go. Basically, he's going to bully me all over the board. That's basically the gist of it, okay? If he would lose the conflict, he would move to a different region, which is his normal movement in that case. Then, if he moves through a region which has the most preferred pyramid tile, which in that case would be the sun god, remember, for him, he would move there. There's the hierarchy of movement, I should say. Okay? All right. So, okay, so basically, he starts with a weapon, so there's a good chance I'm going to lose all ties. Plus, he's on top here. So, oh, and he wins all ties by default. So I'm going to get bullied all over the board. So keep that in mind. All right? All right. So let's go ahead and talk about an overview of the game. All right? And I think the easiest way to do that is here. The game takes place over 3 Katoons, and the game can end a number of ways. It will end either at the end of the 3rd Katoon, so the end of the 3rd scoring, if either of us finish our pyramid, or if either of us place all 12 of our workers out here in the cities. That triggers the end of the game. Even if we haven't gotten to the 3rd Katoon. We finish the round, meaning both of us will take our turn. Then we go into the Katoon celebration, which is the interim scoring. And then whoever has the most points wins. That'll probably be him. Okay? All right. So within each of those Katoons, we're going to alternate taking turns. Each turn is going to be broken up into a movement phase and an action phase. A movement phase is going to have us each playing 2 cards, one to the left of our board and one to the right of our board. The one on the left is going to dictate the region we're moving to, and the one on the right is the strength of that movement if we both choose the same region. Okay? If we choose the same region, a conflict will ensue, and then the winner goes up the war track. The loser is going to get weapons, which is going to help them be stronger in subsequent conflicts. Then each of us is going to take a pyramid tile, and you guessed it, those pyramid tiles are going to be used to build our pyramids. So after we have done that, in region order, meaning whoever's in a lower numbered region will go first, then whoever is in a higher numbered region will go second, obviously, right? Will take their action phase. Their action phase is going to consist of placing one of their workers into any of the adjacent cities on the board. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. Then they may summon a god in the city in which they place their worker and do some cool stuff, as described over there. Then they either produce resources or build. And when they build, they can build one of two things. Either they can build, I shouldn't say either, they could do one or the other, sometimes both. Build their pyramid or build buildings, which are these available, which are cool little rule breakers, or will score you additional points or something along the lines of that. Then after that, if you have one or fewer cards, 1 or 0, I guess, cards in your hand, then hey, take all your cards back into your hand, otherwise discard them, rinse and repeat, continue doing this until a Katoon celebration is triggered. A Katoon celebration is triggered when we have produced resources using these markers out here and filled up the first 5 spots over there. I think that's a pretty good overview. Now, I did mention that this is a prototype, so if handwriting on components causes you to cringe, I apologize. Like, for instance, these are 4 points apiece, right? And then there are other buildings out here that have since changed during playtesting and development during the Kickstarter. So our components will change. Okay, all right. All that making sense? Are you all following along so far? I hope. I don't have anybody to talk to here in the studio. It's just you and me today. So work with me on this, will you? All right. So we have shuffled up. I think I shuffled. Let's shuffle again. I'm not sure. All right. Place your bets if you haven't. Is it me or King Pakal? I'm going to go with him. But, you know, some of y'all might have... Some of y'all might have higher faith. So for us, let's look here. So we started with a chalk. I suppose what we ought to do, though, is briefly go over what the God powers do. Now, the God powers are the same for me in the multiplayer and the solo game. Okay? For him, it's mostly the same as well. Okay? Mostly. So we'll walk through this on his turn. His first few turns are going to go pretty slow as I walk through the options for you guys. But for me, basically, get extra pyramid tiles. Get extra resources. Okay? This is going to allow me to remove workers from the board and score points. I'm sorry. Nope. Check that. Moving, Jaguar, right, is moving workers around the board. Not the one I just placed. The Sun God is going to allow me to redraw cards back into my hand. So as I play cards, I may want some of these back in my hand quicker than otherwise. So that's where the Sun God comes from. And finally, or comes in. And then finally, Kokokan will allow me, and as well as King Pakal, to remove workers from the board and then score points on things. So honestly, Jaguar and especially Kokokan come into play far more later in the game. All right? Oh, I am not, but I will. Hold on one second there. Who is that, Paul? Let me open it up. There it is. Okay. I am now, yes, it's there, as best I can. Okay, I may forget to look at that. All right, so anyway, yeah, where are we? I would like potentially to be able to build that first building. So I would like to be able to go first. Activations happen, remember, in lowest order first. So I'm thinking maybe region 1. That building, let me go and throw on the old spectacles. Let me get this right. That one is, you're going to be the first player in every action phase, regardless of the position of your ruler. So I kind of like that idea, being able to go first every time, plus being able to, get a weapon early on, because whenever I cover that space, I'm going to get a weapon, which will then match his weapon. So I would like to be able to do that. And I have a yellow and blue resource, which is what I'm going to need to be able to build this building, because if you look at the building, it shows a yellow and blue resource there. These other ones that are available, this one is let me get the name, the ball court. This says every time you build a building tile, including this one, advance on the war track. Sure, I would love to be able to build this one, then that one, but that costs 3 resources, of which I only have 2. Keep that in mind. This one is going to change, and so we've done a little bit of hieroglyphics on it. So this one is gain an extra action strength whenever you summon. Also, awesome. That'd be great. I would love that. Okay, right? But yeah. So I would like to be able to do those things. So looking at that, I think I'll go ahead and start off in region 1. Now, do I go ahead and bust out the 6? Because I really would like to be able to get that to where I can do it before he starts bullying me. I think that's a pretty good idea. I think so. So I'll go ahead and play my 6 there. These will go back into my hand, so to speak. And now it is King Pakal's turn. All right, so where do we put? Yeah, I think we could just put his cards right there. That'll work. All right, so did we shuffle? Okay. There we go. And we'll cut here. There we go. All right. So his first one, region 4, with a strength of 1. All right. There's no conflict. And his roll card did not come out. All right. So he's going to go into region 4. We'll just go and, you know what? We'll put him over here by these. And I'm going to go to region 1. So kind of wasted my 6 on that. What can you do? All right. So now on my turn, there's no conflicts, right? And because his roll card came out or didn't come out, he's not going to bully me. So, yay. So I get to go first because I'm in lower region than where he is. So now I've done so. Now I can choose either of those 2, and I think we'll stick with the with chalk. So I get to choose one of the 2 pyramid tiles there. Okay, I've chosen that. Done. Now, he will go ahead and choose one of his. Now, for this, I actually have my little cheat sheet here. It's probably easier for me to not use my cheat sheet. Here we go. He takes the tile of the preferred god. So, again, his options here are Kukulkan or chalk. And Kukulkan is second on the list, so that is higher, so he will choose that. However, let me look at the tiebreaker on that. Highest on his hierarchy. If tied, choose the wild tile. So there's a wild here, if you look, but that is the second kind of tier in instructions. So because Kukulkan, here I'll bring this over so you all can see this. Again, this is going to go slow for the first couple of rounds while we walk through the options on King Pakal's turn. His hierarchy is as such. So the hierarchy takes priority, but if tied, then it would be a wild would be. But as it is, Kukulkan is higher than chalk, so therefore he takes Kukulkan's tile. Okay, easy enough. Boom, done. That's there. So now we go into the action phase. The action phase is I get to place a worker and then I can summon a god. Well, I'm not going to summon a god this turn because I don't have any strength of it in my pyramid. And you have to have pyramid tiles built in your pyramid to be able to place these. Why do these matters, putting these discs out? You only score on the pyramids on these specific things, whether it's, buildings that are built, how many steps on the war track and weapons that you have, but only if you have a disc. You only get a disc put out there if you summon a god, and if that god summoned, if you've already built tiles in your pyramid matching the god that you're summoning. I don't, so I'm not going to summon a god. But step one is going to be placing a worker out here, and so since I'm not going to summon the god, I guess yellow might not be terrible. So I think what I will do is I will, though, go ahead and place a worker on chalk here in Jaina, because it's adjacent to a yellow production building, or yellow production site. So I have placed the worker on it. That's done. Now, summon a god. I could, you know what? I could gain a yellow resource. And that would allow, nope, stay on target. I am not going to summon a god. So now I could either produce or build, okay? I placed on this city tile. How many workers do I have on this city tile? I have 1. So I am allowed to build 1 piece of cardboard, meaning I could build either of these, or, which actually all of a sudden is tempting. I could build either of these into my temple so that whenever I take another turn and I summon chalk, I would be able to then place a marker over there on chalk, but also I would get more resources. However, this is a piece of cardboard. The other option is I could build these, one of these. If I had 2 pieces, or if I had 2 workers in the city, I would then be able to build either both of these, 2 of those, provided I have the resources, or 1 and 1. So, I'm not going to summon the god because I would get a resource that would allow me to build this, but I can already build that, so I don't want to waste the tile. So I am going to build. Now the question is, do I build the yellow or the wild? The wild can be any color that I choose to be able to build. Or do I stay on target and build the building, which would give me a weapon tile, which then I would be tied, which I'm going to lose all ties. However, if I build there, that's going to allow me to bump up 1 on the war track, which that also basically is the same thing. If I don't build it, I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to build the building. Maybe it's a bad idea. So as my action, I'm going to spend those 2 resources, a blue and a yellow, and I will go ahead and choose this one. I will then build it right there. It covers that, so I get a weapon there. And now, regardless of whether he's first or he's in a lower region or I am, I get to go first. So we'll see. All right? All right. And so I spent my resources, boom. I don't have, that's the only problem with that. I feel like I'm channeling Rado. I'm going to roll that back. Instead, I'm going to build one of these with chalk. So I'm going to build this. In the first level of the pyramid, it's going to cost 1 resource that matches the color of the tile. If I chose to build with the wild, then it would be whatever color I want of the 5. And if I built that, then let's say I chose to make it black, I would put the black cube on there to signify that that is now a black tile, pyramid tile, for the rest of the game. Okay? So, yeah, I thought about it, but I'm not yet. No. So instead, we're going to go ahead and build this. Whatever you cover, you get. I get to add 1 or bump up 1 on my war track. That costs me the yellow back to the supply. And now I get to move 1 up on the war track. You know what? I think it's that one. There we go. All right. So let's take a look at the war track. The war track there says I get to reach into the bag and grab a tile of my choice. Or, I'm sorry, a random tile. Misspoke there. So, we get that. That is a yellow sun god. All right, that's cool. No worries. That'll work. All right. So now, we do not have one or less cards in our hand. Also, I guess I should point out that you can always turn in two resources, two of the same resources, for one of your type, or any two tiles for a resource of your choice as well. Okay? So, those cards get discarded, and I'm just going to have well, you guys will be able to see what my cards are anyways. All right. King Pakal's turn. All right. So, movement phase, pretty simple so far. He chose region 4 there. And now, he's going to place a worker. He places a worker in a city adjacent to his ruler. So, in other words, it's going to be this one, this one, this one, or this one. Those are his 4 options. So, walking through this, when things are tied, again, we go to the priority, the hierarchy of the gods that are on his. Choose a city that would allow King Pakal to claim a building. So to claim a building, you have to have a worker in every adjacent city, and the ruler has to be there. Well, putting a worker in any of those would not qualify for that, so we continue down the flow chart, if we will. Choose a city that does not contain one of King Pakal's workers, if a building tile still remains in any adjacent region. Okay, what's that mean? Well, that building tile is adjacent, so we could choose any of those, and same goes. So we could choose any of those, but there are ties in that case. So which do we choose? We choose the sun god. Well, there is that one. So choose a city that does not contain one of his workers. So it can't be that one. So next one would be Kukulkan. So he's going to choose to place a worker right there. That flow chart kind of makes sense, right? Okay. So then, step 2, Step 2 on the action phase, we did the movement phase earlier, I apologize, is summon a god. King Pakal will always summon a god matching the city in which he placed the worker this round, provided he has at least one matching tile in his pyramid. He has none, so he's not going to summon a god. We can just skip the rest of that, move all the way over to produce or build. So for producing or building, King Pakal will build if he can, based on the flow chart below. So he will always build if possible, and if he can't, then he will produce. So what are the rules for building? He'll build the 4 pyramid tiles on the first level first, then a building. Then, next level, then a building. Next level, then a building. Next level, then a building. End of the game at that point, but you get the idea, okay? All that makes sense? So in this case, we know he's going to build down here, okay? When building a pyramid tile, he'll build the pyramid tile that would gain the most fame if placed next to a pyramid tile slot. Well, there are none, so we can keep going, okay? If tied, choose the tile that matches a god at a temple where he has not yet placed a marker. Okay, well, he has placed one on Jaguar, and he's placed one on the sun god. Okay. If still tied, use the hierarchy from top to bottom. So, sounds like he's going to try and build the sun god. Oh, he will. So, and there's more on the flow chart, but we'll cover that if we need to. Well, yeah, if building a wild pyramid tile, actually, we're at that point right now. Assign it the color that would score the most fame for King Pakal, because there is adjacency both for the god itself as well as the color, but obviously that doesn't come into play. So technically, if tied, which he is, choose the color for which King Pakal has the most tiles in his reserve, and then at random. Well, what color tiles does he have at random? He has a brown, so it's going to be a brown. And, let me see. Right, when building tiles, he doesn't get the effect. Instead, he gets a weapon tile and 3 fame. But worry about that later on. So that said, he's going to go ahead and build the sun god. We've already covered that it's going to be a brown one. It's going to cost him one of his resources, right? Because it on here, and we're going to mark that that is now brown. He also will move up on the war track. He's now in the lead, and when he gets that, same thing, he gets the draw tile. Okay? And he got another sun god, but this one's a black one. So let's go ahead and look at that flow chart again. He only has one build because he only has one worker in that city. But let me go through that hierarchy because now he has a sun god as well as, but it's a different color. So he'll build the pyramid tile that would gain the most fame if placed in the pyramid. So if he placed the brown one, let's go ahead and show this a little bit better. If he placed a brown one here, he would gain 1 point because it's adjacent to a brown. If he placed the black one, it would gain 1 point because it's adjacent to the same god. So he would be tied in that case. Choose the tile that matches a god at the temple where he has not yet placed a marker. Well, he hasn't placed one for the sun god nor for Kukulkan, so still tied. If still tied, use the hierarchy. The hierarchy is the sun god. So in other words, he's going to place the sun god one as the next. Okay? I think it becomes a little intuitive, right? When he has fewer than 2 cards, redraw. Well, he doesn't. Now, this is public info. We're going to use this info against him because, well, we know he has an extra 5. So we know out of all these cards in his deck, he currently has a 2, 3, 5, 5, 6. By the way, if ever the 6 comes out on the left side, you swap it over to this side. If you happen to choose the queen one, in other words, she would have 2, King Pakal would then be technically Queen Pakal. I digress. She would have 2 6s. If both 6s came out, you would then redraw and then shuffle them back in. So, FYI. Okay? All right. So that is King Pakal's turn. It's now we choose, we rinse and repeat because that's not full. So what do we want to do at this? I'm sorry, that's the end of the turn, isn't it? Wow. That goes quick, and that's right, in 2-player. So we refill and any building tiles. So a moment. Blue Sun God came out. Y'all talk to me. Come on. Keep me going here. Are y'all following along? All this making sense? And another chalk came out. Now, we know he's not going to go to 4, and we know he's not going to go to 1 because his 4 and 1 are out. However, remember, if his roll card comes out, he's going to basically come to where we are and try and bully us and try and beat us. Okay? So where do we want to go? I mean, we already have one out here that's adjacent to 5 and 1, so I'm thinking maybe 5, but he has 2 5s. So if we don't go to 5, we go somewhere else. Couple of yellow wouldn't be the end of the world if we went to 5. I say we go to 5. Do we need to go to 2 anytime? Yeah. I think 4 is probably the least interesting region for us to go to right now. I mean, I do like the fact that there are chalk out there. Oh, actually, maybe I do want to go to 4. Hold on. Shoot. Because if we then summon chalk, we would get resources. And we only have... Maybe we go, yeah, let's go to 4, actually. 5 is going to be an important one. 2 is going to be an important one. So I say we go ahead and try a strength of 3 on that and see how that works out. Yes, the cartoon ends right there, Alyssa. Okay. Oh, I think everyone's rooting for Pakal. All right, so I've chosen that. Go left one here. Awesome. All right, not getting bullied. So he's going to 2. We're going to 4. And because we went to different regions, strength doesn't matter. But in case we both have a strength of 3. We both have a weapon, so it's 3 plus 1. That's 4. So we're tied. He wins all ties. I would lose, but we didn't, so yay. All right, so I'm going to choose one of these, and the wild is always better. So there we go. And then King Pakal. I will get this memorized yet. He takes the tile of the preferred god first. So he is here. Preferred god is going to be the sun god. The sun god is not there, Kukulkan. So he will take that one. Now note, that might have changed for his building, but because it wasn't a sun god tile, we know that's not going to be the place, okay? Or be the case, I should say. All right, so now I did not build that tile, so therefore King Pakal will actually go first. Okay, so let's run through his actions. He's already done his movement phase. He got his tile, so now he's going to place a worker. Placing his worker, again, a city that allows him to claim. Well, he can't claim because he doesn't have that. A city that does not contain one of his workers. Cool. If a building tile remains to any adjacent. So all of those apply. So all of those apply. If tied for which city to place where he doesn't have the most workers, then at random. So choose a city that does not contain one of King Pakal's workers if a building tile remains in any adjacent region. That's all 4. So then, if tied for which city to place in, for of a particular god. Let me double check, hold on, in case the tie is broken. In city, higher on the personality, right. So it's going to be the sun god, I'm sorry, yeah, the sun god. So he will place in that city. There we go. Okay. I'm overthinking this, my bad. All right, so now he will summon a god in a city, so he does have a summon. He does have that. Okay. So for the chief god, I'm sorry, the sun god, for each action strength, let me back up, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's go back to Chief Pakal, or King Pakal. Okay, he has a strength of 1 for summoning. If he has 3 or multiples of 3s, if he has at least 3 tiles, he will discard 1 of the chosen god. So in this case, he does have 3, and he does have 1 of the chosen god, so therefore he will discard it. If he had 4 or 5, he would still only discard 1. If he had 6, he would discard 2, provided he had 2 for the sun god. But as it is, he does have 3, and he has 1. This will go out of the game. That'll go kind of into a discard there. So when he summons the god, for each action strength, he discarded 1 for an action strength, and he has 1 here. So that's going to be an action strength of 2. And by the way, because he's summoning a god in which he has a tile, he then will go ahead and put a marker on the leftmost spot. That is a 3-point on the sun god. So you guessed it, 3 fame or 3 points there for that. So now let's actually go through the actions that he has for the sun god. For each action strength, which is 2, King Pakal takes back a card into his deck. Take back the roll card first. Well, he doesn't have that. And then the highest number card in descending order. So he has a strength of 2. Card number 4 goes back in, and card number 3 will go back in because he's played that. So 1 and 2 will go, and then we shuffle those when that happens. And for each differently colored tile used for the summoning, King Pakal gains 1 fame. What colors did he use? He used a brown one, and he used a black one, so he cheats and gets 2 points. By the way, when I say he cheats, what I mean is he scores and I don't. Okay? Okay. So we have shuffled. That is out there for his subsequent turn. But anyways, now he has done his summoning, which is for the sun god to get the cards back into his deck. That's done. So done with the summoning. And what's he going to do? He's going to build because, well, he's always going to build if possible. He has 2 resources left, so therefore he is going to build. All right, so we look, he has 1 in the, check that, 1 there in the city, so he gets 1 build. This row is not built, so therefore he will build 1 of those. Which one? If building a wild pyramid tile, assign it the color that would score the most fame for King Pakal. Okay, so that's going to be a brown or the wild. Oh, that's an interesting question. Let's see. He will build the pyramid tile that would gain the most fame. I would argue that they are the exact same. If tied, choose the tile that matches a god at a temple, which you have not yet. Well, he only has a choice for Kukulkan, so there. If still tied, use the higher, okay. If building a wild, so I would argue that's, oh, I don't see that. I would think that he would keep the wild available and he would build this if they're the same. So that's going to be a brown. That's going to cost him 1 resource. And because that is the same color, he scores a point. That's his building. He's done. And then the discards, boom, done. Okay? A moment. There we go. Okay, good. Spam, sorry. All right, so King Pakal's done. All right, so now it's our turn. Our turn down here. We've already taken our tile. Now we are in our action phase. Where do we want to place? So which god do we want to summon? Well, we want to summon Chalk. So we're going to go ahead and put it down here. So now we're going to go ahead and summon Chalk. When we summon here, okay, you can deplete a production site in the color of any summon tile and get number of cubes equal to the action strength. Okay, so let's take a look. I have this, and I could discard either or both of those to get more resources. I know I'm going to discard 1, and I get to choose what color that is. So basically what that means is I'm going to get at least 2 of any color that I want, because that's a wild and I can call it to be whatever color I want. And I think yellow actually makes more sense. So I will deplete anywhere on the board a yellow production site. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and actually deplete this one because this is the region I'm least interested in. So, oh, sorry, y'all can't see that. There we go. So the yellow will go up there. Hey, Tamás, there is one other question I had real quick in setup. That 1 extra production site does not start up there. It's just out of the game, the one that was not placed, correct? Just want to double check. Okay, so discarded that plus that. That's going to get me 2 yellow resources. And because I summoned Chalk, I finally get on the board here, and we will go ahead and put that there. And because I did that, I'm going to score 3 points. Woot. All right, cool. All right, so that is the summoning. And now, what do we want to do? Pretty sure I want to build. All right. So what do we want to build? Now, yeah, I'm kind of at the same conundrum I had earlier, right? I could build the second god. I could build the sun god there. Tasty. because then I would be able to theoretically summon the sun god to be able to put a scoring one out there. That's great. However, I think earlier I had wanted to build this one. I get to activate first no matter what. But if I did this one first, every time I build a building, I get to move up the war track. Well, that's tempting because that's an extra strength. Then when I build that one, maybe, then I would be able to get an extra bump on the war track. I guess that makes sense. It's more resources, but I have it now thanks to chalk. So I think that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. So I will go ahead and build this here. Oh, you know what? Earlier, I had given myself that weapon and forgot to give it back. So that is the weapon I just got now. I forgot about that. I apologize for covering that. Then whenever I build, including this one, I get to move up on the war track. So yay. So this says I immediately get any resource of my choice. I have to pay the 3 resources to build that. So the 2 yellow and a black. And what do I want? Well, this wants a blue and yellow. So I guess I'll go ahead and take a yellow back. Plus, if I want to build that, I'm going to need a yellow. It's just a whole lot of reasons why I want that yellow. So I only had a strength, building strength of 1 because I only have 1 worker there. So there's my 1 building. Boom, done. That's the end of the round. So those 2 now will go away. And now we refill. First things first. We get a new building, and then we have to put out the 2 new there. Oops. And the new building, I will look up in a moment. So we have the Chief God, and we have Kukulkan that came out. The new building, a moment. The new building, that one is with the, this is if you have the most workers in all cities combined, adjacent to the region occupied by your ruler at the end of the movement phase, you score 1 point. Again, it was 2 originally, balancing 1 point. Okay? Okay. Cool. All right, so let's see. I have filled, I've reset, we're good. All right, so our choice for actions, we can either go strong, 2-5, or we could go weaker, 5-2. Well, let's see, 5, those 2, 2. Oh, they're the exact same gods, aren't they? Okay. So you know what? Again, he's likely to go to 5, as well as a strength of 5. So I would like to stay out of, well, if he draws his ruler card. You know what? Try and stay out of his way. And there we go. Okay, so 6 goes to the other side. And 5. Okay. So he did draw his, oh, let me move these up, sorry. He did draw his roll card. So we're going to break the normal rules for his movement. And his is, if he would beat the player in combat, he moves to that player's chosen region. Okay, so let's look. He has 6, 7. I have 5, 6. He would. So I'm going to 2, and he's going to stay in 2 because he's a big old bully. Okay? All right. So, yay. So now he's going to beat me. So let's go back to that. Eyes are messed up. Sorry about that. If he wins a conflict, reward is normal. So he goes up the war track. He gets a resource of his choice, which, again, that doesn't matter. He just gets that. Hey, good news. I have to leave. That's not necessarily good news, but this is. I get a weapon for losing that at least. So now where do we want to go? We can go to any adjacent. We can go to 1, 5, or 3. 3 has chalk. 1 also, and so does 5 for that matter, all have chalk if I want resources to be able to summon and to be able to get an extra build. And this has, yeah, you know what? We're coming down to 3. I think we go down there. Boom, done. Okay? No one escapes King Pakal. Yeah, right? Big old bully. Okay. Well, awesome. Thanks for that. All right. So he will choose. Again, you would think I would have this memorized by now. I apologize. Yeah, it's hierarchy. So for him, that is Kukulkan. He chooses that. Okay. I, on the other hand, have free will, and I choose chalk. I guess I should put it over on the chalk side. There we go. He's in a lower region. He goes first. So what's he going to do? He's going to place a worker. Where is he going to place a worker? He's going to place somewhere where he could complete. He can't. So then choose a city. It doesn't contain one of his workers. That's 3 options. And that's going to be hierarchy on his personality card. He's already got one there. So the second one on his personality card is Kukulkan. Goes right there. Okay, done. Then he will summon Kukulkan because he does have a Kukulkan in there. Okay? Yeah, there you go. It was the lesser of 2 evils to try and keep glare down and everything else, guys. And to keep everything clear, I had to kind of change the white balance on this. I apologize. All right, so summoning for Kukulkan, he removes a worker first off, he only has 2 tiles. So he only has a summoning power of 1. He's not going to discard because he needs at least 3. So it's going to have a summoning power of 1. He removes a worker in a city where you have the largest majority, which, well, this just in, he's tied everywhere. He cannot remove the one he just placed, though. So it would be there, or there are the ones he could. If tied, the city where he has the most workers. If still tied, which he is, use the god hierarchy in reverse order, then choose randomly. So, reverse order is going to be that one, because this is lower than the sun god, so he's going to remove Kukulkan, that one, from the board, putting it back into a supply. He gains 1 fame for every tile that he used, and 2 fame for each differently colored tile used for the summoning. So in other words, 1 tile and different color, 1 different color, so it's going to be 1 for the tile and 2, so a total of 3 points. Make sense? Okay. All right. Good? Okay. Good. So there's his summon. Now he's going to build, and again, he's going to build same rules as before. He only has 1 because strength of 1, so he's going to use 1 resource. And again, he will use the brown to go there. And hey, look at that. He has an adjacency point and a same color. It's going to be 2 more points for him there. Boom, done. His turn's done. Okay? So our turn now. We played those. We need to place a worker. And I think we go ahead. Do we summon chalk again? That gets us resources. Gets us 2 yellow resources without, or 1 yellow resource without throwing anything away. I would like to be able to. But the important thing is this would get us a second build. So we will do that. We will summon chalk again because yeah, unfortunately, summoning chalk, we don't get to put another marker out there because we've already activated that one. But if we don't do anything, we just get a yellow resource. I mean, that's not bad. We could discard something else and get a second. And if we're going to have 2 builds, so if we did that, for that, we get one other. all I would need 2. Yeah, you know what? We're going to discard this yellow chalk, so it has to be a yellow that we deplete, and it has to be yellow resources that we get. We're not going to use that, so sure, we'll go ahead and deplete that one. That'll be 2 yellow resources. That'll work out. So there's our summon. So now, because that city has 2 of our workers on it, we get 2 builds. The first one is going to be that. That's going to be a yellow and a blue to be able to do so. So that is the cost for doing that. And now we're going to activate first no matter what. So, okay, cool. Plus, a couple other things. We're going to move up the war track because we built there. All right, awesome. So let's go ahead. I will go up the war track. That allows me to grab 2 tiles at random from the bag. Okay. Oh, I forgot to put his out there. Thank you. I will do that. Okay. So 2 tiles that we drew, another blue chalk, and a blue sun god. Okay, cool. He's going to kill me in the scoring here. He put his marker on that temple. I apologize. I forgot to do that. That's why you guys are helpful today. I appreciate that. And he scored his 3 points. Okay. So we have drawn our tiles. We've moved up the war track. In addition to all of that, though, now, hey, looky here, I get one of my roll cards. So I finally get to choose the roll card. So, and we'll get to go first every turn. So, yay. All right, so those are my options. Y'all chime in here, okay? Hey, what's up, Cray? So, I get to choose one of these, and I only get to choose one for the duration of the game. So, these 3, what do they get to do? Or what do I get to do with them, I should say? There it is. All right, card number 1. Every time I build in the pyramid, it costs 1 less. So in other words, the bottom row is just straight up free whenever this card comes out. Not because it's in my deck or my discard, but on the turn I play it, I get to do that. This one says I can summon any god, not just the god I placed my worker on in the city, and it comes in at a strength of +1. I love both of those, I'm not going to lie. I really, really love both of those. Okay? And finally, this one is I can spend a resource to what in the rules say is lay down a worker, because we're streaming and top down, stand up a worker, and that counts as an extra strength for majorities and stuff like that. Now, Tamás says he would choose this. I have yet to figure out what the, oh, but that is a 6 power. Oh. Huh. Yeah, actually, Tamás brings up a good point. I probably shouldn't argue with the designer. He brings up the point that possibly to beat Pakal in combat, which then would get me up the war track, which is good, but then also in city majority scoring. And there's only 2 players, and there's 10 cities, so the points are going to either he or I, provided, you know, we're in those cities. I really love both of those, but you know what? I think that's actually a really good point, and I don't think I can overlook that, so I will take the queen, and she goes into my hand. But now all the cards are going to be out, so I'm actually going to get my entire hand back because that is my last card. So there's that. Cool. All right. So that was building number 1, but because I have a strength of 2, I get 1 more. Now, I can build any of these, but I have to expend a yellow resource in which to do so. And my options, obviously, are the wild chalk. He's a wild and crazy guy. Or the sun god. I'm going to choose the sun god for a couple of reasons. One, you know, I already had a yellow, so that makes sense. Okay. Adjacency is going to score me a point. But also now, if I summon the sun god, I get to put out a marker out there. So I think that's a good idea. All right, so my 1 point, boom, done. And that's my second build. Seemed like a good idea, okay? And this way I have my wild for, I can either build it later, whatever, but I couldn't have built the 2 blue because no blue resources. That makes sense, right? Okay, all right. Oh, Billy, it's the first time seeing the pointer. That was a gift from Martin Fowler, so thanks, Martin. Cheers. All right, end of the round. So, put those back out. We have a wild sun god, and we have a black Kukulkan. You all following along? All this making sense, hopefully? All right. All right, new round. Where do we want to go now? Well, I would like to place somewhere with the sun god. So 5, so basically 2, 3, 4, or 5 because the 2 sun god cities are there. I do have a resource to expend to stand up a worker to win all ties, or the city majority, but we're still a little ways, I think, from being able to have a Katoon celebration. So I'm just wondering whether or not I want to use the resource for that right now. And if we're going to summon the sun god, that's going to allow us to take back a card. So I guess we might as well play it. But we're probably going to produce this round and not build because we're going to be out of resources. So that's the downside of it. So where do we want to go? So he has 1 and 2, so he's not going there. He's played his roll card, thankfully, so we don't need to worry about getting bullied with that. So he has 3 and 4. He's going to either go to 3 or he's going to go to 4 or 5. Right, he has a... So I kind of want to go where he is and bully on him a little bit. He'll get the weapon. So we got a 33% chance of going 3, 4, 5, right? Those are his 3 cards left. So then it comes down to what tiles do we want and cities, yada, yada, yada. Well, we already have this, right? So getting one there might, I mean, we're halfway home at that point. I guess technically we would be halfway home if we went there too. Then we would just need those. I think, you know what? I'm going to let y'all decide. So which location do we go? It's going to be 3, 4, 5. Y'all choose. And that's what he is going to do. So, yeah. Yeah, I would like to be able to move up the war track because it's going to allow me to, let me double check that icon. Move your player marker to the leftmost available spot on any other temple, gaining any bonus. So I would be able to move the chalk one to something else that I'm not necessarily going to be able to do when I move up the war track. That's impressive. 4 people and all of y'all have chosen a different location. All right, we got multiples of 5 first, so we're going to go to 5. Okay. Okay. He's going to 5. Well done, team. All right. So we both go to 5. All right. Going to have conflict. 6, 7, 8, 3, 4. You ain't got to go home, but you do got to get up out of here. So he loses. He gets a weapon. We move up the track. This allows us to move to any of the available temples. Now, I think, would be a good time to go over what the temple scoring is. Okay? All right, so let's go over what the temple scoring is. Yeah, there we go. All right. So we'll do them in that order here. So the one with the cubes on it is number of resources in supply. Now, these are global ones, and what I mean by that is I have 1, he has 1. Regardless of who is in that, whoever has the most, that's how many points you score there. So that's resources, okay? This one is buildings. You get, is it 2 or 3? It is 2 victory points per building. So right now, whoever is in chalk is going to score 4 points because I have 2 buildings. 2 points each. For Kukulkan, there, oh, that's a little hard. Oh, I just realized, y'all, let's move that a little bit. Sorry. There we go. Now y'all can see it. That one is number of pyramid tiles built in your pyramid. Currently, that's worth 3 points because one of us has 3 tiles in it. Okay? Okay? Then the next one, this one is number of cities occupied by at least 1 worker by a player. So right now is going to be 3 because 3. And then this is war track plus weapons. 1, 2, 3, 4 for me, 5, 6. So this is worth 6 points. Now, the thing is, I would like to be able to move it to the sun god. But I'm going to take the sun god action. Or am I? Because I do have chalk now, and if I'm moving it off of chalk, maybe I put it back on chalk. And I do have access to sun god and chalk there in 5. So, well, that is currently 3, but the bonus is unavailable. Resources seems less exciting. That's probably the least exciting of the bunch. I think maybe I move it actually to Jaguar. So, I'm worried I'm going to knock stuff over. Give me a second. Oh, no, I said down here. So that'll be, you score for that, don't you, when you do that? Gaining any bonus, you do, 3 points for that. All right, so I won the battle, so I'm staying in 5. He ain't, he's got to bug out. Okay, so where does he go? So when he loses, if he loses a conflict, give him a weapon. We've already done that. Move the ruler to the region that contains a tile of the preferred god. Preferred god is going to be the sun god. So let's see, sun god is here and here, so basically anywhere but 1. Okay, that didn't help. So let's keep going. If tied, choose an adjacent region where he has the most workers in adjacent cities. That looks like that's going to be 2. Because he has 1 there and 1 there, so it looks like he's bugging out into 2. Boom, done. Okay. All right. Excellent. So now we've resolved, oh, he gets a tile. It's going to be sun god. I'm almost positive, right? Hierarchy, yeah. So he's going to get the sun god tile in his region. For us, Kukulkan or or the chief god. The chief god lets us get more tiles. Plus it's yellow. I have a yellow. I don't really have a really good reason for either or. Let's go ahead and grab the yellow one though. Okay, done. So now, because I have this building, normally he would activate first, but I am because I have mine. So place a worker. Where do we want to go? Well, now that I have both of those available, I need resources. We've already established that. We're here. We do have access, and it gets us extra builds. It just makes sense. It worked out. So we'll go ahead and place it there. The only downside, here, hold on. The only downside of doing that is I won't be able to make use of the queen, or I would, I'd stand up, but that's not as good because it's 2 workers in a place I already have majority. So maybe I go Sun God, but it's not going to get me the resources. I guess I could produce this turn and I would get, like, say, 2 brown. I would like to go where there's blue. I didn't think that through. So if I were to go here and I got resource, you know what? No. I realize I'm wasting the queen's ability, kind of. That's okay. Tamás, I have a question for you. When it comes to the Jaguar, can you move a stand-up, or as it were, laid down, a 2-value worker? Can you move that, and is it still 1 value, or, you know, one count as if you're moving 1 worker? What's the rule on that? Help me out with that. But I am going to go ahead and place it there. I will go ahead and spend the yellow resource to stand one of them up, which is now going to count as, well, that's 3 workers all day. That just makes sense because resources. And then we will summon Chalk. I will discard the blue. So that's going to be a strength of 2. And I could either get a yellow or a blue. I think I will go ahead and activate this blue one. And I'll get 2 blue resources for activating Chalk. And when I do that, I then get to drop a marker down on Chalk. Remember, that's the one we moved over. So that's going to be 3 points. All right, that's a little bit better. That's good. And now we can discard that. And now, I think we build again, because we should be able to finish the bottom. Oh, you know what? I forgot to put in, and y'all forgot to tell me, building tile. And what that building is you can build an additional tile when you choose to build the producer build step during your action phase. That requires a yellow and a brown. Oh, that would be so tasty. Okay, cool. Thank you, Tamás. Good. You can move that worker as a 2 value as if it were a 1 with the Jaguar. I'm going to make use of that in a bit. All right. So we actually, I'm sorry, we have 3 workers here. Forgot. So we get 3 builds. I only have 2 resources, unfortunately. That's okay. So for our building, I will build that with that blue. That's 1. And then I guess we finish the bottom row. And the only option I have is that, and make that a blue. So when I place this, I will have gotten 1 point for adjacency for the same type. And then I would have gotten another point because same color. So 2 more points for the builds. And that's me. That's right. I can stand up any worker, not just the one that I just placed. That's fair, but I mean, it's essentially the same thing, and I might as well. So yeah, fair point, Tamás. Thank you. All right, so I'm done. His turn. All right. So he's going to place a worker. And his hierarchy for placing is, again, he can't claim that building yet. Because placing it, say, there or there doesn't get him all 4. Okay. So then choose a city. It doesn't contain one of his workers. Okay. And they're tied. And they're both the same god. So that's going to be a random city. So, you know what? We're just going to do odd and even. Odd up top. And this is an unused deck. That's an even. So we'll put it down here. There we go. All right. So for summoning, he doesn't have the Jaguar, so he's not going to summon. Okay, easy enough. He will build. And what will he build? Well, he will choose one of those two tiles, and for the building, gain the most fame. The most fame would be that one. And that is going to be a brown one as well. And that's going to be 2 points because he matches both the god as well as the color. So that's going to be 2 points all day for him for building that. So Ross says he places in Tulum, meaning up here, because he gets closer to the building in Region 1. Let me see. Choose a city that would choose a city does not contain one of King Pokal's workers if a building tile remains in any adjacent region. Okay. Choose a city, most tiles, city most preferred. If tied, choose a city where he doesn't have the most workers, then at random. Now, I would argue it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Tamás can correct me on that, but I believe that's the case. All right, so he is built. He is done with his turn. That's it. We resupply. So we got Chief God and Jaguar. And no buildings come out, and those go into his discard. He has 1 card left. So all of his cards go back, and we'll shuffle his deck up as well. Okay, and we'll cut, say there, okay. All right, so our 5 and 6 are out. Well, that's 6 anyways. So where do we want to go? We have no resources. We have almost no tiles, but our entire bottom row's built. To build in the second row now, what you need is you need 1 resource, the color of the tile that you're building. So in this case, say a yellow, and then 1 other color that isn't yellow. That would allow me to up the war track, which would get me 3 more tiles. This bonus is essentially wasted now because I've already built that one and I got my roll card already. So that doesn't give me anything additional in that case, okay? So that's what we have. Basically, we have all of our options except for Cinco. So where do we want to go? So I think what I would like to do is I would like to activate the Jaguar God even though we don't have him built here. So I would like a Jaguar tile. And there's 1 and 2. Remember, he has all of his cards. So he has 1 and 2. That's the only Jaguar tile. So I would like to go to 2. Did I not move that? Did he not pay? Should he be at 0? Help me out, Peanut Gallery. Sorry about that. So what I'm thinking is if I activate the Jaguar God, I can move one of these workers somewhere there, but I think I'm going to want to place a worker there. So I think going to 2 works. Yeah, I like that. So how badly do I want to go there? I want to go there pretty badly. And I don't want him to go there. So let's do that. Okay, I did pay for. Okay, good. Okay. So now he will go. He's going to 2. Ooh, drama. So we're both going to 2. Oh, but wait. Check it. So he has a 5, 6, 7. I have a 6, 7, 8. So I would win. So now let's look at his special thing here is if he would lose a conflict, he moves to another region as described in the movement phase. So in other words, no, he still loses. Yay us. So he's going to get a weapon for losing. We're going to move up and draw 3 tiles because we won. And what do we have? We drew a wild chalk. Oh, hey, look at there. A yellow jaguar and a chief god. All right, I'll take that. Probably ought to do it like kind of that way. There we go. All right, so he lost. He got his, and he will move. That contains a tile of his preferred god, which is most of them. If tied, choose an adjacent region where he has the most workers in adjacent cities. So let's see. There or there. So he has 1. He has 2 there. He has 3 there. So he's going to move to 5. Because adjacent city, adjacent city, adjacent city. Preferred god is there. So there you go. So he has 3. Okay. That's cool. That'll work. All right. So we want the jaguar one. We've already established that. And he will take hierarchy, which is Kukulkan. Done. All right. So our turn, we're going to place a worker on jaguar, right? Yes. Or do we... I know. This whole time I was like, oh, do the jaguar, right? To be able to, yeah. The only problem with doing that is I would like to be able to choose the sun god. The sun god would allow us to take a card back and 2 cards. Actually, we'd be able to take 2 cards back and we would get a marker out there. And then I can worry about moving for jaguar next turn. Yeah, let's do that. I will place there in Lamani, right? I think Lamani, I think is how you say it. So there. I will activate the sun god. So I have activation strength of 2. I don't think I don't have any others, so that's it. So 2. So my options for pulling cards back, obviously we're going to pull the 6 back. Do we want to pull the 5 or the other 6 back? I think we pull the other 6 back. So those will go away. And then we score 1 point for every different color summon tile of that god. So that's going to be 2. Okay, good. And because that was the sun god, we get a marker there, and that's going to be another point. Cool, that works. Wait, what? So hold on 1 second. Again, not arguing with designer, but he says, in the movement phase for the war captain, this turn, do the first one of the following options that is possible. If King Pakal, would beat the player in combat, he moves to the player's region. So not that one. If King Pakal, Jesus, apparently I'm dyslexic all of a sudden, would lose a conflict, King Pakal moves to another region as described in the movement phase. So in other words, do his normal stuff. So his normal stuff would be the actual region that he chose. Am I wrong there? because he chose region 2, he would actually just go to region 2. Okay, so he flees, he's saying. So he would bug out before I got that. So the 3 tiles I drew, which were, what, that one, or I'm sorry, that one and that one, I think. Okay, all right, fine. I would argue that should be clarified, but okay, fine. Which means if he flees, he doesn't get the extra weapon either. So all right. We've summoned the god. And now, sadly, as much as I want to build, I have no resources. We will have to produce. So we have to produce adjacent to Lamani. And so let's go ahead and show this. So I have one god here, one worker here. I have 2 workers here. If I were to choose to produce brown resources, I would get a total of 3 resources because there's 3 workers adjacent. If I choose either of those 2, I would only get 1 resource. And, well, I'm pretty sure 3 is better than 1. There we go. And that's 3 brown. There we go. Sadly, that's my turn. Boo. All right, his turn. He's going to place a worker. So let's see. He's in 5. So it would either be there, or there, because does not contain one of his workers. If a building, right. Choose a city, matching the guide shown higher on the hierarchy. Okay, so what are the 3? It will be Kukulkan, because options. Those are the hierarchy. Chalk is 3rd, and the chief is 4th. So, okay. All right. Okay, so he bugs out before combat. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. All right. Let's see. Kukulkan. He is going to summon Kukulkan. He only has 2 extras, so he's not going to spend any. So he has a strength of 2. Let's see. In the city where he has the most workers, he only has a worker in each of those. So, if still tied, use the god hierarchy in reverse order, then choose randomly. So, Jaguar, does he have one? He does. So he's going to remove 1 from Jaguar. And he will score 1 fame for every serpent tile. That's going to be 2 points. And 2 for every different color. They're the same color, so that's going to be a total of 4 points. And he already has a marker there, so he scores 4 points for that. He has 1 resource. It requires 2 check that. It requires 2 resources for him to build any of these tiles. But look, he's already built his entire bottom row. So what does that mean? He would normally, now he would build one of these, but he still only has 1 resource, and each of these costs 2 or 3 respectively. So that means he's going to produce for the first time, since he can't build. Select the production site at which he gains the most resources. If tied, choose one where you would gain the most resources. All right, so we know it's going to be 2. It's got to be adjacent to region 5. He just placed that 1. Now, check that. He doesn't follow those rules, sorry. But it still ends up being that way because adjacent, that's going to be the most. So it's going to be white. So it doesn't matter, but he's going to produce 2. 1, 2. And oh, hey, that's going to trigger the end of the first round. Oh, check that. Apparently I forgot to spend it earlier, so he had 0 resources. Now he's at 2. Problem solved. All right. So now, let me go ahead, put those back in the bag. Let me go ahead and put this stuff back out so I don't forget, and then we're going to have a Katoon celebration. So we have that, a sun god and Kukulkan. Okay. Okay, cool. All right. So we have our first Katoon. So first things first, advance the Katoon marker. Okay. Boop. Done. I'm going to grab these now so I don't have to reach again. A moment. Okay. We'll mess with those later when we get to that step. All right, second thing, score the temples. All right, let's go and score the temples, shall we? All right, I've already explained what the temple scoring is. Most resources. I have 3, so he's going to score 3 points. All right, now 2 per building tile. He has a building tile. I have 2, so it's going to be a total of 4 points for me, for that one. Kukulkan is most tiles in the pyramid. I have 4, he has 4, so it's going to be 4 points for him. 2, 4. And then we're both going to score the same amount here. For this one is highest on the war track. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We both score 6. 3, 6, 2, 4, 6. And that is who's in the most cities. He's in 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm pretty sure that's the most. So we're both going to score 4 points. 4 and 4. All right. Hey, Abner, welcome from the Yucatán. Welcome from the Yucatán as well via Boston. So there we go. Okay. Oh, good to know, Rocky. Appreciate it. All right. So that was scoring the temples. Now, each city awards 2 points who has the most workers. And then if tied, everybody scores 1, except he wins all ties. So no. So it's me or him or nobody, as it were. 2 points per. So we'll do green first. Him, him. We're tied, so him and him. So that sounds like 8 for him. Boo. 3 and 5. And yours truly. Me. No. Me. So 4. That went well. All right. Shuffle the depleted production sites randomly and put them back out, and then return your player markers from the temples. Now, during setup, we put those 2 extras out there, but I do not believe that they stay out there in subsequent rounds, because I did not see, it says carry out as normal for the Katoon celebration. So I believe that bonus is just at the beginning of the game and not, I'm shuffling up the production sites, and not every round. All right. So that said, here we go. We got there, 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 and there we go. So you would think we're only a third of the way through the game. It actually goes quicker at this point, so I would argue we are about halfway, I would say, maybe a little bit more. Again, y'all following along, all this making sense? I like the fact that you guys are able to correct me on a couple things whenever I either overlook something or whatever. It shows that y'all are grokking the game. I know some people don't like that term. So be it. There we go. So we're good. We're good. These go into discards. Thankfully, that bad boy's gone. And it was kind of wasted for him because, well, he didn't get to bully me, right? All right. Well, now I would like, let's see. I really want to be able to put that. So let's see. If I were to go to 3 and I summon the Jaguar with that tile, it would only be a strength of 1. But I could move one of them there. And then when I place a worker there, I would then have all 4 and I could claim that building. That seems good. And I can't do that anywhere else. So I think we're going to 3. I do have the spare resource, so we could actually make the one. I think I could do that yeah, I think I will do that later on in my turn. I like that idea. So that's me. He will go to region 6. No, that moves over. Oh God, we're tied. Just don't go to 3, man. All right. So he goes to 5. Stays in 5, as it were. We go to 3. That works out. Oh, okay. So, Tamás, that would definitely be something I would recommend pointing out. So he does. Ouch. He gets that on Jaguar and the Chief every round. Oh, that's gross. Oh. Ouch. That is. Oh, wait. So is that... I guess that's Anaya. All right. Oh. Or do we? Tamás will clarify that. Either way, regardless. All right. So we have gone there. What do I want? Do I want more Chief? Or do I want to go ahead and grab Kukulkan just to be able to have a different god? Oh, I don't know the answer to that. I don't know what's the more important. I don't know the priority. I mean, it's more points, but having the extra god to be able to get that out, I don't know. I don't know. Let's... And Kukulkan is 4, that's 2. Let's take Kukulkan. And then for his, he's in 5, he will take Chief. And it happens to be brown, so he's really happy about that. Okay. All right. Well, we activate first. Okay, let's do it. So we will place on the Jaguar. We will summon the Jaguar, even though we don't have any built. But I do have this one. So I'm going to discard that one. And Jaguar says, for each action strength, which is a whopping 1 for me, you may move one of your just place workers, so in other words, not the one I just placed, right, onto an adjacent city, gain 1 point for moving through a production site matching the color of the summon tile. The summon tile in my case was yellow. So I choose to move one of these across to there 1 step. I only have a strength of 1, I can move 1. Boom, done. It's not yellow. I would score a point if it were yellow. Okay? And now, I would like to point out that yours truly gets to claim the region bonus. So, let's move that up a little so y'all can see. There we go. Worker, 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 worker. And my ruler's there. I get to build that bad boy for free. So, I take it. I add it to my tableau. I immediately get the bonus on there. So I will draw a tile first. There. Oh, it's a wild sun god. All right, cool. And then for the chicken scratch, it's a little hard to see because adjustments. Let's try and, there we go. So this one, let me see. This is, that is 2 times, that's number 1. Take both tiles from the region at the end of your movement phase. Okay, so for now on, I get to take both tiles. Cool. I'll take that. That works. Okay, cool. So, yes, he does place both of those out there every round on medium difficulty. God, what is it in hard? That's terrifying. All right. Then I will discard a resource to stand up or lay down, whatever, stand up one of my workers. So now, it's going to be, I think I will do that. So now we're not tied. I win 2-1 as of right now, right? So now, do I build or do I, and that was her special ability, the queen. I think I produce, and I would produce 3 resources, 3 black, which would help me for next round. Yeah, I think so. So let's go ahead and do that. So 3 obsidian. I figured you were looking that up. Like playtesting notes and stuff, Tamás. That's cool. Appreciate it. All right, so that's me. I'm done. All right, King Pakal's turn. So he's already gone there. He's taken that. He's going to place his worker. And placing, he's in 5, so no. So he is not going to place in that city. We know that. Choose a city that does that would allow him to claim a building. He can't yet. That does not contain one of his workers. If the worker, if the building tile remains in an adjacent region. Well, I guess he could build there still because that one is still there too. So where would he build? It's still between those 3. And the hierarchy is personality cards. So let's see. That is Itzimna, Jaguar, or Chalk. Who's higher? Looks like Chalk is the highest, so he will place there in Chalk, or on Chalk. Oh, right, thank you, shoot. And because I built that, I get to advance the war track. Thank you. Good looking out, David. All right. So it is possible to beat the war chief on tough difficulty. All right, so my 3 draws were, oh, hey, look, there. Another Kukulkan and another Chalk. All right, so that was for this. So yay us. All right, so he placed his worker there on the rain god. He is not going to summon the rain god because he doesn't have any of those on his board. And so he will build, he has resources, and he will build so he's going to build a building. He will buy the least costly tile he can afford if tied the leftmost. So if you take a look, 3 resources, 3 resources, 2 resources. So he's going to spend both of his resources, and he will build this one. He then gets a roll card, but he already has a roll card, so hold on, I saw that. Where was that? He immediately performs the action of his roll card. It doesn't apply with the war chief because it's during the movement phase only. So normally, if like he was the queen, he would be able to spend a resource and do that, but as it is, not. So now, whenever he takes a build action, he gets +1 power. All right? So he always has a build minimum of 2, in other words. Okay. He's done building. Let me double check. Does that happen immediately? Hold on. I don't know if that happens immediately. I don't, yeah, Tamás can correct me on that. But assuming he can't, the one that just came out is, oops. There we go. There we go. The one that just came out is you gain 2 fame from now on for each adjacency when building tiles in your pyramid. Okay? And 2 new tiles there. You are correct. Yep, I'm out of you. Yep, I will fix that. Good call, good call, good call. So we got a yellow Jaguar and we have that. You're right. I mentioned this earlier. Ignore the building stuff for his buildings down here. He gets a weapon and 3 fame in lieu of that. That is, you are spot on. Well done, Ra. So 3 points. That's right. Yep. Good call. All right, end of the round. New round. Those go away. Those go away. And I'm sure in the final edition there will be a flowchart type thing for this for the players as opposed to in the prototype rule book. So hopefully that'll be easier for everybody. But I mean, it makes sense. It's actually really simple once you get going. So we have claimed this one. I really would love to be able to do that. And there is a Jaguar. I do have a Jaguar. I would like to be able to build it so that I can move more fluidly. I think I want to go to 2. Oh, I don't have 2. Never mind. So, if I'm not in 2, he has 1, 3, 4. 1, 3, and 4. Okay. Well, maybe I want to lose. So I could try and go to 4 and lose. I would get a weapon tile, but then I would have to go adjacent, and I'm pretty sure 4 is not adjacent to 2. That's sarcasm. Okay, well, that sucks. But what I could do is go to 1. I wouldn't be able to claim the building this round, but... And I have 1 card left in my hand, so that will come back. Yep. Yeah. All right, so he goes to region... Oh, I'm going to lose. Well, okay. I was going to lose no matter what because he wins all ties. 4, 5, 6. I just wasn't thinking, I guess. And 7, so I'm going to lose. So we both go to 1. I lose. I choose to go to 2, which is really where I wanted to go. He goes to 1. He goes up the war track. He gets to draw 2 tiles. Yellow Kukulkan and a yellow chief. I get a weapon for losing. And then I get to choose both of these tiles because of that building. So, all right, I'll take both of those. He will choose the sun god. Done. All right, and I get to activate firsts because that. I would have liked another Jaguar, honestly, but yeah. Oh, no, I need a strength of 2, don't I? I only have... Ah! Ah, that stinks. Okay. So do I want to activate Jaguar? Or do I activate Chalk to get resources? Chalk's not there. Never mind. Kukulkan might not be the end of the world if I were to activate because... No. I don't have... I could discard... What is that? 3... That's 9 points if I were to do that. Oh, that's tempting. Okay, so here's the dilemma. Chalk is not there, so I can't activate Chalk. I could activate the Sun God. I already have an advantage there. I'm already going to pull all of my cards back into my hand when I'm done anyways this turn, which then that would stop me from doing that. But it would get me 3 points, and then what? We're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 eventually then there. I mean, that seems good. So that's option 1. I think realistically, option 2 is to go to Kukulkan. And Kukulkan will allow me to remove one of my non-placed recent workers, right? So say I remove this one here down on chalk. And then if I spent all 3 of these tiles, they're 3 different colors. For Kukulkan, I'll get 1 point for every action strength, so that's 3, and then 2 points for every different colored summon tile, so that's 9 points. But I don't think that's vital to do right now. I would get a worker there, but I still need a strength of 2 Jaguar, and I'm going to build that tile for sure. So maybe I just go ahead and do that, and then I go back to 2 next round. So I build the Jaguar. I don't activate Jaguar. I could activate the Sun God, but I don't because, well, I could go back. I could grab 2 and I get, yeah, all right, fine. We'll activate the Sun God, but that means I place the worker there. And that gives me 3 builds. I don't have the right resources to be able to do that, but yeah, you know what? Let's do it. We'll activate the Sun God. So we're going to place our worker there. Done. Activate the Sun God, which that has a strength of 2, maybe 3. Do I discard that? And that would allow me to pull a 3rd card back. I don't need to, so no, it's just going to be a strength of 2. And that'll be 2 points for the 2 different colors. Done. And I will pull back 6 and 2. There. Back into my hand. And then for my action, I now get 3 builds. Oh, hey, welcome. Jesus and new other folk. All right. So we're definitely going to build Jaguar. So that's going to require a black and 1 other. So there, done. And that's going to allow me to go up the war track. Going up the war track allows me to score 2 points per weapon. 2, 4, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. And I get a total of 3 builds. So that's 1. And you know what? Yeah. That's exactly it, David. So I'm going to turn in tiles for resources here. So I have 1 build done. The second build is going to be to build this building. It's a yellow. Here, I'll bring it over so I can show you all a little bit closer. That is brown and black, and then I need a yellow. So that's any 2 tiles. So I'll go ahead and get rid of that one. And you know what? Yeah, I'll get rid of those 2 for the yellow. Those will get discarded. So that will get built. That will be another weapon. So let's say we did that in the other order for the, so instead of building that, I will have built this first because that's going to get me an extra weapon, which is going to be an extra 2 points. So then I will have built that, which I got that. So the extra weapon, extra 2 points, that makes sense. That's 2 builds. And for my 3rd build now, oh, right, Sun God, thank you. That is so easy for me to forget. There, and 3 points for that. There we go. And because we built that, we move up on the war track again. And that there says stand up a worker as if, so basically the queen's action. I get to do that somewhere. So where do we want to do it? Where are we hanging out at together? We're not. We're going to go to 2 again. And Jaguar, I think we'll stand up. Does that make sense? No. I'm going to stand that one up. So that's now 4-1. That makes sense. There we go. So I have a third build now. And my third build is going to be, oh, by the way, that got me no points for adjacency. I'm going to, again, this is dead, but that's going to be that for the black and then 2 tiles for anything else. And I will roll the dice, so to speak, and I will get rid of the wild, and I will get rid of a Kukulkan. Because I'm going to want resources, Jaguar, the adjacent. No, we're going to go the bottom 2 for the other resource. Done. And that's my third build. That felt good. That feels good. Now, I can't go up higher on the war track, so now if I move up the war track, I can choose any of these actions. The reason this has changed is because you can abuse that. So I'm not going to do that just because spirit of the game. I'm going to choose any one but that because that it should be the last one up there. So just FYI. All right, that's our turn. That was pretty awesome turn, I think. I'm pretty happy with that. All right, so King Pakal has patiently been waiting. I appreciate it, Your Highness. All right, placing a worker. So let's see, he's in 1, so it's going to be one of those 2, and that's going to be, let's see, that will be hierarchy. Hierarchy would be there. And he does not have any of the chief gods, so he will not summon. He is out of resources, so he will produce. Oh, yeah, actually, I will actually build that there. Good call. Good call. There you go. Good call. Leave that open so I can get 4 points later. That makes sense. So I didn't give myself the 1 point because I planned on doing that. All right, anyway. So he's not summoning, and he will produce. So producing because he's out of resources, in which he gains the most resources. So it's going to be 2. If tied, choose at random. So it's going to be this one or this one. We'll use the other deck of cards. Even, odd. You could use a die for this. That would work too. But even is going to be that one. He produces 2 resources. Done. All right, end of the round. Need a new building. All right, and the new building was, that is, every time I know that without even looking. So this one says, whenever you produce, you get a resource of your choice. It doesn't have to match the same color that you produce. So yay on that. 1 sun god and up there, chalk. Cool. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Good. Buildings, good. Done. Go away. All right. So I want to place a worker. I want to activate the Jaguar. That would give me 1. I did not draw well. Okay. So I need 2 strength Jaguar. And I cannot do that by going to 2. Son of a... because I have one strength jaguar there. One strength, if I put it there, I can't move one of the, I need 2 strength to be able to do that. Oh, good call. He would actually choose this one because that would get me 4 resources, whereas this one would get me 0. Good call. You're right. Good call, Rob. Where do we want to go then? If I don't want to go to 2, I think 5 would get me the extra jaguar. And that seems good. I would get both of those. I would have all the gods in there except, right, 1, 2, 3. No, I'd have all the gods. Yeah, I think I go to 5. That's frustrating, and I don't have 5 now. So I have 2 and 6, so I guess we go to 2. And do I want to... Yeah, I see no reason why I don't have the resource, but I could gain a resource when I produce, since I'm not going to... Yeah, I will use the queen again. Okay, and I have 1 card left. He has 1 card left, so all of these go back into his hand. He shuffles. All right. Grrr. I did poor planning on that. Or I needed one of those to be a jaguar. Because, note, they turn into resources. They don't turn into other tiles, right? So, and that's plus, it's trading 1 building only, so it wouldn't help for discarding tiles for bonus strength. So, there, cut, we'll go. Oh. All right, well, we're going to win that. So there's that. So we both go to 2. He has a strength of 4. I have a strength of 10. I will choose, okay, what do we want? You know what? Now, I think I choose that one, which is 3 tiles, and hope for a jaguar. One, that's 2. There's a jaguar. There we go. And 3. That worked out really well. So now, where does he bug out to? He is going... Contains a tile of his preferred god, and adjacent, so that would be here. So it could be to one of those 2. If tied, choose an adjacent region where he has the most workers in adjacent cities. He has 1 worker in 3, and he has a ton in 5. He's going to 5. Okay. I get both of those tiles. He chooses 1. And looking at the hierarchy, it's going to be that one. Done. All right, we place a worker. We have 4 workers left after this. And I will place on Jaguar. Jaguar allows me to summon Jaguar, so I will have a strength of 1. Discarding this is a strength of 2. And I'm going to move one of these workers over nothing and then over a blue. Because I moved over a blue, and blue is one of the colors, I'm going to get a point. And now, worker, 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 worker. I choose this one as my last building. That is, every time I build, I move up the war track, including this time. So this is kind of tasty. I'm going to score 7 points. Up the war track, up the war track. So 7 points is 1, 2, 3, and 4 more there. And then on the war track, what do we want? Well, I have enough tiles for right now, I think. Tiles are resources, so keep that in mind. So what else? We're not going to allow myself to do that. I could move a disc, which would allow me to summon the, you know. I'm going to be able to place a disc on Jaguar so I don't forget. That's going to be another 3 points. 1, 2, 3. I could theoretically move both of those if I wanted because of these. Getting a resource is basically like getting 2 tiles. So getting 3 tiles twice is like getting 3 resources, right? Thomas says he should have moved to 3 instead of 5. He has a sun god there, has a sun god there. And then, if tied, choose an adjacent region where he has the most workers in adjacent cities. I would argue he has more workers in 5 than in 3. He only has 1. Am I right, Thomas? I think so. So I think what I'm going to do is draw 6 tiles. Because tiles are resources. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. So we have done the Jaguar. We have gotten our bonus building. That's our last building that we're allowed to build. Oh, and I have +1 summon power. I forgot about that, so I can move 1 more if I wanted. Do I want to is the question. I think I do. I think I will move that one there so that when I build or produce, I will get more resources. I like that. I was choosing not to go for the weapons because of that, Tamás. So, interesting. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 resources. I would need 5 for 2 builds, and I do have the 2 builds. It would wipe out all my tiles and all my resources. Or do I go ahead and produce that would give me 4 black. I think we might be able to, I don't think I can end the game next turn, but I'm getting close. I will produce that, and that's going to get me 4 white. 1, 2, and that's standing up, so it's going to be 4 white resources. Oh, the tile. You are correct. I overlooked that. It's the tile of the preferred god for him, not the city. Thank you, Tamás. My bad. You're right. All right. So I'm done. He's up. He's going to place a worker. He places a worker. Let's see. There's no building tile left here, so that's not important. Choose city doesn't contain one of his workers if the building tile remains in any adjacent region. So this or this would then help, as well as that one technically because of this. And the higher between Jaguar, that, and Chalk. Chalk is going to be the highest for him. He does not have Chalk in his, so he will not summon the god. He has 2 resources. He has already built here. He will build here. And building there, so he will build, spending both of his resources. The tile he uses gain the most fame for placing it. So it'd be a brown or it would probably be, let's see, that would be worth 2 points there. Or the sun god, where he has not placed the worker yet. He hasn't placed on the sun god, so he would place the sun god 2, 3 points there. 2 because he matches both, and another one there for 3 points. He gets, no, he only has the one build. That's it. Oh, yeah, and he should have built that, or grabbed that as well, sorry. Instead of that one. I forget which one that was. I'm going to assume it was the top. I apologize. My bad. All right. And yes, I think I used the queen action. Oh, did I? I didn't, did I? I probably would have done that with one of these before his turn. So yeah, I think that's fair. He's done building. We're done. Put out 3 new tiles, no new buildings. 1, 2, 3. I don't think the game's going to end this turn, but I think it will potentially next turn. Good. All right. So I have 1 card left, so I get all of mine back. And he's done with the 1 and 2. So where are we trying to get to, y'all? We can't build anymore, so getting that is pointless. I don't know that I really care, do I? Man, in a perfect world, getting a black sun god would be perfect to go there, because a black sun god would get me 1, 2, 3, 4 points, because it'd be adjacent to color and then type. Alas, I don't have a black sun god, nor do I have a wild sun god, and there are none of those things out there. But looking, let's see, so that's 4 different colors of Kukulkan right there. Those I'm not going to use to spend for anything other than activating Kukulkan, which I think might seem like a good idea to do. So if that's the case, I think I could go 5. Yeah, let's go to 5. Yeah, let's go to 5. So we'll try and go to 5, and I see no reason not to use the queen again. He's going to 3. All right, so we're going to 5. He stays in 3. All right, so he will choose that tile. I get both of these. All right, so I will activate Kukulkan there. Then I will use a resource, stand him up, because ties, not tied now. So activating Kukulkan, I can remove one of my not just place workers. Okay. So I will choose one of those. That comes back. I'm activating it, spending all 3 of those in that. So it's going to be a strength of 4, and then 2, 4, 6, 8. So 12 points all day. 12 to 69. Done. And those will go away. I guess I could have, yeah, there was no other Kukulkan on, there was one. Yeah, I already had a blue. It was worth 1 point. I'm fine with that. Done. And now, what do we want for our action? We will build. Oh, and I have a strength of 1 more, so 1 more point. Whoop. Okay. So we're going to build. I'm going to go ahead and build that there. So that's going to be a black, which is going to be, say, that and that for the black, and then I will use the white for the other. And that was 1 build, and because I have that, I get 1 more build if I wish to use it. And I do, so I will put that up. That's going to cost me, let's call it white, and then I need 2 other colors. So that will be 1, 2, and that's built. And that'll be 4 points. 5 points because it matches that. And these are out. All right. Yeah, I think I can next turn depending on how things play out. That's our goal. So now he will place a worker. So it's going to go onto one of those. And both of those still apply. So the hierarchy means it will go there. And he still doesn't have any of those built. He will not summon. He has no resources. He's going to produce. He's going to produce, looking at this, that one, because that would give us 3. So that's going to be 3 resources for him. And done. Right, shoot, I forgot. So I did Kukulkan. Thank you. And that's 3 points. I forgot. Thank you. Chalk. And more chalk. All right. Those are gone. Those are gone. Where do we want to go? So I will have 5. I need to build 2. I need to produce. It's 2 turns away. Damn it. I was hoping it would be 1. And those can be any color, and I want them black, so I'm going to go there. So either of those work. So 1 or 2. He's played 1, 2, 3, 6. I will go 6, and I'll go 1. I don't think we're going to fight there. Or do I want to? No, I'm fine with that. He's going to 4, unless he wants to fight me. That's 9, and that's 10. I would win. He doesn't want to fight me, so he will go to 4. And I will go to 1. I get both of those. He goes chalk. All right. So I want to place one on Jaguar, I think. I've already, let's see, Chalk or the Chief. Chalk is there, and that gets me a ton of resources. I'll put it there. That'll work. So, summoning Chalk, and now that I got these, yep, I might be able to. So, summoning Chalk. I don't have a disc on there, so let me go ahead and throw it up there for 3. And so, blue, yellow, black, and another color. And that summon. Maybe I keep that one. Let me see. Blue, yellow, black. That's 3. That's 4. Yeah. So it's 4 and I will go ahead and choose to make that black. So I'll take that one. That will trigger the Katoon. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4 black resources. Yeah, and that one goes away. If I build, can I do it? I don't think I can. And then I need 2 other colors, and I don't have it. Okay. Those won't be black. Instead, let's go yellow instead. So that's going to be 3 yellow right there. And then for my action, I'm not going to build. I'm going to produce 3 black there. And that will trigger it for next. There you go. Okay. I like that. Done. That's my turn. And for his turn, he is going to place a worker, first and foremost. Oh, and he gets that building. So let's see. Choose a matching that most tiles in his pyramid. So that is there. He's going to get this, which gives him a tile, a weapon, and 3 points. There. He has 3 resources. So for his building, that is going to be get him the most fame. So that will be, he can, yeah, he's 1 resource short. I do wish he would be able to turn in tiles as well, if he could. Something to consider. But his building will be, if let's see, that matches a Godded Temple where he's not yet placed a marker. So he has not placed one on Kukulkan, and he hasn't placed one on the Sun God. So that would be on the Sun God then. So the Sun God, I mean, I see no reason why he wouldn't build this as a brown for 2 resources. And that will be 1, 2, 3, 4 points for him there. 1, 2, 3, 4. And he actually would get another build, but he can't. He's a resource short. So he's done. Yeah, if he could spend tiles, he would be able to definitely maximize that. And then he could have used resources or building tiles for resources earlier for building instead of producing. But I digress. So he's done. And I will put out new tiles so I don't forget. And then we're going to have a back-to-back celebrations, it looks like. Okay. All right, so advance the Katoon marker. Boom, final Katoon, done. I'm gonna grab these as well. Oh God, I totally forgot about him summoning. I'm sorry, brain cramp. Okay, back up, you're right. He would, before he built, he would have chosen to build, he placed there. I got ahead of myself, my bad. So we placed here, that's going to be Kukulkan. He has 2, 4, 6, 8, so he's going to grab both of these. So he has 4 tiles, 2, 4, 6 different colors. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in 3 different colors, so that's 11 points. Apologies, good catch, good catch. 11 is 1 and 10. Thank you. Good call. Just missed it. Now he's done. So now we will get back to, and he will place a disc on Kukulkan also. And get a point. All right. Temples. Most resources. That'd be me. I have 6. He's gaining 6 points. And that marker is going to stay there. So 6 to 76. For chalk, that is going to be 2 points per building. I have 5. That's going to be 10 to 91. Then we both get, for highest on the pyramid, that's going to be 4, 7, 8. We both get 8 to 84. And 8 is the 99. So that's here, and those get removed so I don't forget. And I lose that one. And Jaguar is going to be for most cities. So he's in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's 8 points for both of us there. It's 107. And 8 is 6, 8 there. Oops. And remove that one. And finally, the Sun God is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 is 1 to 18. Done. And that gets removed. And technically, he would get those back out there. And then, each city, 2 for whoever has the most. Okay? So, we'll do green first. Tied, so that's him. 2, tied, that's him. 4, 6, tied. 8, no. No. 10, no. So, he gets 10 points for that. 10 to 102. And for me, 2, 4, because standing up. 6, 8, 10, standing up. No, tied. 10 as well. 2 and 8. I feel pretty confident I think I'm going to get him. That's it. So we shuffle up these, which I've already done, and put these bad boys back out there. This should, if my math is right, be the last turn. So where I go, I don't know. It does matter in a sense that we're going to have a Katoon celebration after this turn, so I want to go where someplace I'm tied. So I would like to be able to go to a Jaguar. So I would like to go to 3 and with 4, and that's my last card. He has 1 card left, so all of those go back in. So 3 would be perfect. The reason is I could place in Jaguar, which then that would allow me to move people around and take advantage of ties. But there, he's going to 1. So I go to 3. He's going to 1. By the way, I didn't mention, but these have standees, but top-down camera, etc. So he is going to choose, if tied, in that case. So let's see, he gets the tile highest on his hierarchy. If tied, choose the wild. There's no wild, which he has the most tiles built into his pyramid. If still tied, choose the leftmost. So it's going to be that one. I get both. All right, so we activate first. I'm going to go ahead and place on Jaguar. Jaguar, I have 1 here. 2. Let me make sure for building sake. If I were to build, say, those are both blacks. I would need 2 others here. That's 1. And that's 2 for that one. I can't build the second one, can I? Still, I'm 2 resources short. Oh, really? Damn it. Tisk. So I place on Jaguar. I can move 1 right now. Or wait. You know what? Maybe I say to hell with placing on Jaguar and I place on Chalk. That makes more sense. Yeah, that makes more sense. Because then I'm looking at 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that makes more sense. So that'll be 4 resources, not yellow or black. Let's go ahead and do blue. So 4 blue. That makes more sense. There we go. All right, and now we build. And building here, I get 2. Right? So, oh, actually, it's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 for the plus summon power, and that goes onto Chalk for 3 points. There we go. So that's going to be 1 more blue. So those are dead. And we will go ahead and place a black there, and I will place a black there. So that is 1 black and 2 others for that, and then a black and 3 others, which will be that, and that'll be blue and blue for another color. Let's call it white. And that takes care of that. So there's my builds, which I can do for 2. So that's going to be 4, 5, 6. 7 is 13. 14, 15 for matching colors on that as well. 15 points for that. 46. And that's me. He goes. He will place on Jaguar, which gets him this. That gets him a weapon tile. And that will get him another weapon tile for building the building, and then 3 fame. There. So he placed on Jaguar. He will not summon Jaguar. He has 1 resource he can't build, so he's going to produce resources. He would produce that, which is going to be a total of 2. It's moot, but there. He's done. I'm not going to bother refilling because I've completed the pyramid. So now we're going to go into another Katoon celebration. So we score the temples. So he is going to score resources. I have 5 left over. He has 3, so he's scoring 5. Done. Chalk is going to be 10 points for me. 156. And the only other one that matters, I think that's 8 for him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Check that. To 19. And then majorities for the cities again. So we'll do his. No. Tides, that's him. 2, 4, tides 6. No. No. 8. No. 10. I get 2, 4, standing up, 6, standing up, 8, 10. And that's it. I smoked them. There we go. 166 to 129. So maybe, I guess, possibly. He's joking, Tamás. Oh, wrong one. Ah, hold on. Hey, come back. There we go. Hey. All right. So there you go. That was it. So it has a pretty good flow to it once you get the flow down. So I imagine that Tamás is going to include a like a little flow chart for the solo bot. I think it's pretty low maintenance. It's pretty simple. And I think there's some there about, I have no doubt that some stuff will get fleshed out, but I enjoyed it. So there you go. All right. So hopefully y'all enjoyed that. I enjoyed that. Hopefully y'all did. If you did enjoy, consider checking out the Kickstarter now that you've seen both the solo as well as the multiplayer playthrough. And if you enjoyed it, consider subscribing. Give us a thumb and consider supporting the show, as it says right down there. Patreon.com/HGHQ. A big thanks to Tamás for sponsoring the playthrough as well as providing the prototype and hanging out with us this afternoon. Hopefully the weather in Hungary is good as it is today. It's a beautiful day outside today. All right, so yeah, that was fun. It was a good time. I am curious, and I'll give Tamás a couple of seconds. What's the difference as far as difficulty levels? Like if you wanted to amp up the difficulty on this, I know King Pakal starts with 3 weapon tiles first off. And whenever he builds a building, he gets, this is on the hard level, gets 2 weapon tiles and 4 fame instead of 1 weapon tile and 3 fame. And I think there, and also for, let me see, for starting out for setup, I'm not sure if it changes as far as on the temple tiles, how they come out for that, okay? All right, so there you go. All right, thanks to everybody. And Alyssa's like, yeah, hey, I backed it halfway through. So, all right, I guess mission accomplished. So I know Alyssa's big on if a game has a solo playthrough, I want to see how the solo plays, and if it plays well, then yeah, it's something for me, and apparently it works. So good. Hopefully y'all enjoyed that. I will be back next week. We have a plethora of playthroughs coming up. A bunch of unsponsored as well as sponsored stuff, including 18 Chesapeake and other stuff. So be sure to watch the weekly look ahead when it comes out. And again, thanks to everybody for watching and hanging out with me today. These would be horrible for me if I didn't have y'all to hang out with. So I really do appreciate that very much. All right. So that said, be kind to one another, and good luck to everybody, and I'll see you all, I guess, Monday for the weekly look ahead. All right? Thanks, y'all. Take care. And King Pakal puts 3 markers out there on temples every round, or on every Katoon celebration, instead of just the 2 on medium. Ouch. All right, yeah, I'm in for that.